special guest, Jose Elias.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, how you doing, Jose?
Doing great, man. Thank you for this opportunity.
Sure, man. Jose you're the executive director of Community Arts and Culture, Miami nonprofit.
Yeah, that's what I had said I wear, and I am, the executive and also artistic director.
You're a man that wears many hats. You're a producer, musician. You're a lot of things. A programmer. You're it's just you name it.
Fun guy.
Yes, fun guy. Right on. So I'd like for the viewers to get a little better sense of the organization and, of course, the person, the energy behind it. So with that, I'd like to talk a little bit about your personal background. Jose, can you tell our viewers a little bit?
Well, as far as my background goes, I was born in the Dominican Republic of Cuban parents. Came here when I was about a year and a half old. So I've been in South Florida for all that time now. And I was raised in throughout Miami, Hialeah, and all my musical influences just came through all my, interactions with the community throughout the years.
That's where we met, was the city of Hialeah.
Exactly.
That was going on 35 years now, 35 years ago, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a long time, man. So talk to us a little bit about your musical influences.
Well, early on, what got me into music was, rock and roll, heavy metal, Van Halen. I think it's the reason I picked up a guitar in the first place was Eddie Van Halen.
Makes sense.
But then, as time went on, I, discovered the Beatles. I started getting into that phase. And then down the line, I discovered world music through an album that Peter Gabriel produced.
Which one?
The Last Temptation of Christ. Oh. And but he had also produced soul, and there was like this
his
year
soul stuff.
Yeah, I remember like '87 was this incredible year of all these great productions, bands, like pinnacle albums in their discography. And so I remember hearing Peter Gabriel's soul, and then I heard Last Temptation of Christ, and that led me into liking world music and discovering all this different music from around the world. And then eventually that all kind of intertwined with Cuban song, which I didn't know at the time that would become a big influence in my musical career, and it still is to this day. But yeah, that's a little bit about me and my trajectory in music and all that jazz.
So all those roads seem to have led us to where we are now, which is really another sense of what I want viewers to get is to understand what community arts and culture is about. Can you tell us what inspired your decision to get it started? Well,
community arts and culture has always been something that has been a part of me even before I had the organization, because I like to share the joy that I receive from all these great songs from around the world, and for me it was a big part of community, building community and always sharing in that. I'm a very communal person. So when I started the organization, I had already been producing this festival called the Afro Roots Fest, which for me, the main reason behind it, the initial reason why I did it was to produce an event, which we could get into later. But anyways, it was really just to give back to the community for all the wonderful blessings I've had with music and all the endeavors that I've had throughout my career. And I just really loved the gratitude that I was receiving from the community about it. And that's what led me to, be more, more receptive into, okay, how can I take this to another level? And that's where, I came across another nonprofit organization. I was working for a church at the time in Miami Beach, and they had their own separate arts organization. And I had a great mentor, Dr. Carol Hoffman, who was very supportive of what I was doing with Afro Roots. And she's like, hey, why don't you just come on board, learn the ropes through us, and then eventually you could start your own nonprofit. So I started learning how to write grants. And then I realized, wow, I have something very culturally viable here that people want, because that's the thing. I was presenting things that were very unique and one of a kind as far as the niche of music that I was focusing on presenting, which wasn't at that time in Miami. There was the Rhythm Foundation, of course, who've been doing it for many years. Shout out to the Rhythm Foundation.
RQ.
And then, and there was other organizations obviously as well. But for me, there wasn't really a platform for local world music, global artists to present, themselves. And there wasn't a lot of clubs that would have, world music
there really
at
wasn't.
that time. So I started doing it at the now no longer existent Tobacco Road.
Yeah, it's just a parking lot now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And then 3 years later, I started the nonprofit and made it official, and here we are.
So community arts,
3 years later.
yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
So community arts and culture really has become a vehicle for festivals like Afro Roots. So tell me about some of the favorite. So over the years, you've presented dozens and dozens, almost hundreds of artists throughout the festival, because it is now in year, I want to say 23.
Yeah, we're entering our 23rd season.
As an organization, but the Afro Roots Fest has been going on even longer.
Yeah, it's going to be 28 season coming up. Yeah,
so that's a long time.
Yeah.
So what are some of the favorite acts that you've been able to present?
Well, one of the thing about being a world music nerd like I am is that I got to experience some of these artists that I loved for so many years. So I would say most recently, when we had the 25-year anniversary, we brought in Amadou and Miriam, which are great legacy act.
That was amazing.
Beyond that, Salif Keita was another highlight. For the 20-year anniversary, I remember we brought in the Sun Ra Orchestra. And actually, a funny story about that. The reason why I started the Afro Roots Fest was because I wanted to do a tribute to the Sun Ra Orchestra.
Right.
I had seen a film.
Space is the place.
It wasn't Space is the Place. It was A Joyful Noise.
Okay.
And I saw that film, and it inspired me so much that I was like, I want to do a tribute to Sun Ra. So I did the first ever Afro Roots Fest, which we mentioned earlier.
Tobacco Road, right?
Tobacco Road. And I produced a project called the Afro Polyphonic Space Orchestra. That's the only time we ever did that show, and it was like the launch of Afro Roots Fest. And I'll never forget. And then 20 years later, full circle, we were able to get the Sun Ra Orchestra to come and perform at the Afro Roots Fest, which is fantastic.
Yeah, my personal favorite was Omu Sangare. That was incredible.
Omu Sangare was incredible.
Otherworldly.
Yes,
that show was just you had to be there. It was really something.
Yes, absolutely. Omu was fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're as I mentioned before, I have many talents. There's so many things that you have, so many irons in the fire. Why don't you talk about some of your newer productions, like the Aseta Social Club? Yeah.
So one of the things that we do with the organization is present, the Afro Roots Fest. We've done countless other events like the Dia de los Muertos and also Hispanic Heritage Celebration.
There was a day at the beach for a while too.
Yeah, we did the day at the beach, right? And that also brought in a youth component where we gave a platform to youth to perform, and that was really great as well. But this past season, we decided to pivot into doing more production work. And it all started kind of culminating from our experiences that we were having up in Gainesville, Florida, which we had a couple of events that were happening up there for a couple of years. We were working with the University of Florida, a Center for Arts, Migration, and Entrepreneurship, and presenting these events. And, I realized that the model that was being formed was going to lead to something that we could manifest in Miami. And what that manifestation ended up becoming was the Aseta Social Club. We did the first presentation of it earlier this year in February at the Wilsonian Museum in Miami Beach, and it was a very intimate but very impactful piece that we did. I was very happy because it was kind of like our change of course, and based on the reaction that we got, it was like telling me, well, yeah, this is the direction we need to be going in. So and I say that because for many years we've been doing the Afro Roots Fest even before the organization's been around, and I realized that Miami is a kind of city that is very transient. So as far as things that we do with world music, we presented it because we love the music and we had the opportunities to do that, to do the presentations. But the other thing was that we had so much of that in Miami and South Florida as far as local talent that wasn't being showcased.
Right.
So I felt, well, this is an opportunity for us to change that course and start getting back on track with presenting local artists, which is what we did early on when we started Afro Roots Fest. It was all local bands that represented the diversity of the whole Miami scene.
Right. So that's the way I saw it. Was I said it was a production. It was a combination of musicians, different musical influences. There was a spoken word component to it. There
Correct.
was multimedia.
Correct.
There was lots going on.
Yes, it was, and it was a collaborative effort. You know, we brought in a couple of different collaborators to do that, and it worked out really well. And a scholar, we brought in poets, which first time for us because we've never really done anything with poetry, and it was great. It was a great contribution to add to the mix because music has been our main vehicle for many years. This brought in, you know, music, dance, and poetry, and on top of that, some film because we had a virtual presentation. One of the poets was done virtually.
So that was a first for the organization.
Yeah. As far as it being like a multimedia presentation, we had never really gotten into that before, and as far as also being a new work, you know. So in that respect, we really kind of took it to another level as far as producing an event.
That's great. Now, I understand some of the musicians involved in Aseta are also bandmates of yours.
Yeah, of course. Why don't
you tell us a little bit about Cortadito?
Cortadito, of course. The first incarnation of this project was a combination of two groups, Cortadito and Irawo Osa. Irawo Osa is an Afro-Cuban folklore group consisting of a lot of young members, particularly one of the herederos, or you know, the great grandsons of the founders of Muñequito Matanza. His name is Giraldo Yunisclevi Ramos, and his father, who also is a dancer with Muñequito Matanza. They moved to the United States, but they're still, you know, part connected to Muñequito Matanzas. He was the dancer that worked in the piece as well, and we've been working with him on and off, you know, for a couple of years now, which is fantastic.
Is that the same dancer that we see in the video single for
Cortadito? Traigo mi son. Exactly, that's him.
I think that's the first clip that we want to share with our viewers.
Yeah. So basically, it's them and then Cortadito juxtaposed, and what we were able to accomplish there is to have a trajectory of Afro-Cuban music, starting off with the early folklore, abacua, changui, and then evolving into song and other forms of rumba and things like that, because everything that is derived from Cuban music has its origin, and so we showcased those origins in this piece, and you know, showed the evolution throughout the piece itself, including poetry that was about the subject matter and all that, you know, related as well. And then, of course, the scholar who was the MC kind of put things into context. So it was a very bohemian kind of like, you know, vibe. And that's what we wanted to achieve, is to showcase different artists as if you're going to like a cabaret and you're seeing different, you know, varieties of performers throughout the night, you know?
Right. So yeah, let's transition to Cortadito. How did the group come together?
Cortadito came together about probably 13 years ago. It was me and Julio Cesar Rodriguez who started the group as a duo, and we launched in November of 2011 as a duo, and then eventually we grew into a quintet, and then from there we've just kind of had a lot of different iterations of the group, and it's really cool because, you know, when we started, we had a big sound, and there's a lot of reasons, you know, why I like to, people ask me, oh, you know, why Cortadito? What's behind the name? There's a lot of reasons behind that. But basically it was, I had come out of a band that I had worked with for many years. I was a really big band called Conjunto Progreso, but I wanted to get back to the roots of the music that I was playing with Conjunto Progreso, which, you know, song, and really take it to the point where it was really acoustic and folk and traditional, and like that country music is. Cause it's
like a scaled down version.
It's folk music, folk and country music from Cuba, from like going back to the 1900s, early 1900s. So I wanted to take it, you know, make it very authentic, and that's why I started Cortadito. I wanted to get back to that tradition, which I had been longing to do for a long time. So that's what basically, was the genesis for Cortadito. And then, of course, like I said, it evolved into a bigger group. We have done shows even as big as like an 11-piece band. So,
Cortadito
the
big
name
band.
doesn't really apply necessarily because of the size of the group, but it is because we could do a lot with very little. We leverage technology now in a lot of different ways to make the group sound bigger. And that's really cool. We have a percussionist, we call him El Pulpo, the octopus, as you know, Santiago McCook. Yeah. And he has this whole contraction where he performs the parts of 5 different percussionists.
Hence the name Pulpo.
Yeah, it's really crazy. But those things, they're very cool in that those things were created out of necessity. Like you can't have a band that's 5-piece because it's not sustainable. Oh, you can have a quartet, so you got to go down the trio. The trio format is very popular in Miami right now because it's more sustainable as far as trying to make a living off of music. So these guys throughout the years started getting very creative. It's like, oh, how am I gonna make it sound fuller? And the ingenuity of the necessity of having to condense down to a smaller size group led to all these great inventions.
Nothing quite like Cuban ingenuity, is there?
Oh, well, yeah. And just in general, out of necessity, all the things that could come from creativity, as far as having to invent something to deal with the shortfalls or whatever you want to call it, socioeconomic reasons or whatever, to make a living. You create these things that are going to sound big, and you could do something small and sound big. And so that's kind of like the whole kind of aura behind Cortadito, is that we're a small band, but we have a big sound.
Big sound, right. Yeah. Gotcha. So here we are almost 14 years later, and you guys have finally produced this wonderful this wonderful record called the Guajiro Triangle.
Yes,
and you brought a copy to the studio today to share with our viewers.
Yeah,
there it is. It really is a great looking cover, but the music sounds even better.
Yeah, shout out to my great friend Ryan Kakolici, who designed this cover. He told me this was one of the art pieces that he created, graphic designs that took him the longest ever to do. So shout out to him.
But it really looks like it was
amazing.
Worth the time. I was, and I think I shared this with you before. I'm reminded of a very famous cigar brand. It looks like a cigar box.
Right. So my thinking behind the direction of this artwork was exactly that traditional cigar box art that you find in all these different cigar boxes throughout, the world. It's always kind of has a similar kind of feel to it. Yeah. So that's what I was going for here. It just resonated great, like with the whole thing of the tradition and the culture and,
I think
and
you
all
nailed
that
it.
stuff. So
you guys nailed it.
There it is, the Guajiro Triangle.
Why the Guajiro Triangle, Jose?
Well,
what's behind that?
So it all came about from we do lectures and workshops as well as a band, and I felt that we're a band from Miami, but we have musicians that come from Cuba, from the East Coast, from the West Coast, different parts, and
the East Coast and West Coast of the island.
Yes, exactly, the island of Cuba, correct. And we all culminated in Miami, right? So it's a story of exiles and the connection between Santiago de Cuba, La Habana, and Miami, that's the story of the band. That's the triangle, exactly. So that's why I called the album the Guajiro Triangle, because it tells the story of that trajectory of this music, which goes back, 2 centuries, that showcases the varieties of styles. And that's what I wanted to achieve with this album, is to showcase that, because we had 3 different songwriters that contributed to the album, each with their own particular style of songwriting or focus on, the commonality is that it's sung, but it's different eras and different harmonic concepts and different
tempos. There's different feels to it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I wanted to treat it as such. It's something that has a lot of diversity even within this particular genre. And that's the Guajiro Triangle. The sound of the band is the Miami song sound, right? We call it that. But it's really, just like what salsa is. Salsa is an evolution of song.
Right.
It's a gumbo of different cultures coming together, right? So we're in a way like that. Even though my parents are Cuban, and like I mentioned, I was born in the Dominican Republic. but I was raised in a Cuban household. So
in Miami, no less.
in Miami,
Right.
which is pretty much, you know, Cuba, outside of Cuba, you know.
Right.
It's
The
like-
exile experience.
Yeah, exactly. So for me,
Your bandmates, though, conversely, they were raised in Cuba.
yes, that's
Yeah.
correct. So for me, it's not only an honor, but you know, just to have that access and be able to work with artists throughout many years, because I've had an extensive career in this music now, going back probably more than 25 years. But to be able to share with artists from Cuba that are also soneros is really to me like something so special, because it's hard to find through soneros. You know, it's a very small niche, you know, and a group of people.
And the ones that do it really well.
Yes, exactly. Like Julio, for example.
yeah.
Julio is a perfect example that he's from Santiago de Cuba. That's where Song is from.
He's authentic.
And he's the authentic, and his style of writing represents that, reflects that. So even though he's writing original material, it has kind of the flair of a more traditional sound, very acoustic, no piano, you know, that kind of thing.
Guitar driven.
Yeah, like guaracha and things like that. You know, different steps of like, you know, they call it ramas, different branches of song. You know,
Right. And he is another one of these legacy musicians that we've discussed. You know, where his father was also involved in the genre.
Correct. He was a producer at Egrem. He did a lot of things, and he actually wrote a song, Casa la Trova, which we recorded. I've recorded that song both with Con tu Progreso and Cortadito. And his dad wrote that song. And many years later, I found out, his dad wrote that song. I had already recorded it, because Elias was the one that recorded it first.
Okay.
And he made it really, really popular.
Elias Ochoa from the Buena Vista Social Club.
Correct.
Right. Great. So yeah, we talked about the format of the band, how it's kind of, you know, functions equally as a trio, as a, you know, and then as large as an 11-piece. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the special guests that are on the album?
Well,
maybe we can roll this second clip.
Sure. We had on the album the great Aimee Viola, wonderful singer, La Sonera del Mundo, as they call her. Yeah. And she recorded a song written by our bass player's father, Alberto Batallón Hernandez.
Again with the legacy, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Called Guajiro en la Madrugada. So it's the first time this song has ever been recorded.
Wow. Okay.
You know? So it's just really, again, a pleasure to be working with artists that have original material.
Yeah.
To this day, you know, that song was written many years ago, but we were able to be the first ones to record it. And with an artist like Aimee Viola, I mean, that's
top notch.
Top notch, you know, Grammy and Latin Grammy award-winning artist.
Didn't she play Celia Cruz on a telenovela?
She did, yeah. I tell people she's like the modern day Celia Cruz.
Pretty
to me,
much.
she's
you
know, the queen, you know. And so for us, it's just a great honor and pleasure. And Aimee and Paulo, her husband, both great people. Great human beings.
And Lolis too is in the mix.
Yes, Lolis as well. Yeah, our content creator.
The daughter.
So it's a family, you know.
Yeah,
and so that's an extension of also, you know, our bigger family of guests as well. We also were able to bring on Nestor Torres, another ally, a great friend of ours for many years.
Yeah, he's been around for a while now. He's been performing with you guys for several years.
Yeah, he was one of the first artists that we were able to collaborate with. And when we started doing these collaborative things back in 2019, he was one of the first ones that we worked with, and it's just continued to blossom. And so eventually at one point we're like, hey, he liked this song that Julio wrote called Ay Maya. He really liked it a lot when we performed with him live. And I said, look, man, you know, let's record it. Let's do that song, because I know we were looking for a song for him to be on, and it just worked out perfect. It's just, you know, chef's kiss, you know, as they say. It's like perfect song for that collaboration.
Great choice. And that actually turned out to be the first video and the first single from the album, and that's the third clip that we can share with our audience today. And it looks great, it sounds great, and just the idea that you have somebody like Nestor, again, he's like, you know, for our generation, one of the top guys.
Yes.
You know, and that he's such a great friend of the band and such a you know, collaborator on the record. I think that's amazing. That's a great win for the band.
Absolutely.
That's really nice. So this first video, first single, it was shot here locally, wasn't it?
Yeah. All our videos were shot here in Miami. Yeah. We don't have those big Hollywood budgets. You know, we got to kind of work with what we got, and we've got some resources, so we're very fortunate. We had some great backdrops to do stuff in.
Yes.
and we're very fortunate for all the people that helped us out along the way with these videos. Very, very thankful too.
We have to shout out your collaborator on these videos, Adrian Gonzalez.
Oh yeah,
Oigo Vision.
Oigo, absolutely. Shout out to Adrian.
He's
with the vision,
right?
The man with the vision.
Yeah, this is shot and edited with, of course, your input and your direction.
Yeah, I actually edited the videos myself. Like literally, he set me up. He goes, here's how you do it.
Good luck, pal.
And I did it, and I had so much fun. And to me now, it's like a new thing. I love editing videos. It's like when you know how to run the programs, of course, that's the first step. But for me,
that's the important step there.
It was a pleasure. Yeah.
Right. So Cortadito's getting ready to, you guys are going out on tour, sort of, but there's a very special event coming up this weekend.
Correct.
Why don't you tell us about this Hispanic Heritage Month kickoff event in the Keys?
Yeah. So we're going to be playing this Saturday, September 13th at the Florida Keys Brewing Company, 81611 Old Highway in Isla Mirada, Florida. Great
Beautiful
place.
spot.
Beautiful spot in paradise. Great owners, great beer, just a great place to do concerts at, and we've been working with them for many years on doing different things, including Afro Roots, as we talked about earlier. But that's going to be happening this weekend. We're performing. We're celebrating the release of our album down there, and we're also going to have a second day of music with another band from Colombia called Fusión Bayou. And then I'm also going to be DJing as
another
well, which
talent.
is another thing that I did
Jose
many years
Elias,
ago. And I recently started doing it again. Yeah.
DJ
exactly.
Superconductor.
Superconductor,
That's right.
Exactly.
Right on. So Fusión Bayou, that's what kind of vibe is that?
It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things related to Colombian music, different styles. So they cover the spectrum of anything from vallenato to cumbia to mapale. They just cover it all.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet, but I know that there's at least one of the guys from Grupo Barrio Bajo.
Yes, correct.
Part of that.
Tony, the percussionist.
And that's a fun sound. That's a really incredible act. Those guys are
my boys.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barrio Bajo, yeah.
That's awesome. So that's going on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Is there any charge for admission?
No, it's completely free.
It's family friendly?
Absolutely, and dog friendly too.
Okay, very
you
nice.
Bring your dogs.
Even though it's a brewery, there's a beer garden out back.
Correct.
That's very family and pet friendly.
Yes, correct.
Right. So, all right. So, if you want to learn, I guess there is a Facebook page where there's more information. There's actually a website also.
Yes.
For the organization.
You could go to cacmiami.org.
Right.
To check out, get more information on the event and the organization as well, things that we do and whatnot.
Right, but there is an event page on the Facebook, on the organization's Facebook page, which you can get a link through this website that's on the screen right now. So that's happening this weekend. So why don't we shift over to some of the other groups that you're involved in currently?
Well, Spam All Stars, I continue to be part of that group for many years now. We play here and there, and then, other projects, really, I've been putting them on the back burner, like the Nog Champions and Tilly's Music Ensemble, but I'm bringing them back because I'm producing some albums for Nog Champions and a couple of other artists as well that I've had on the back burner forever. But now I'm pushing forward with Afro Roots Recordings, which is my new label that I started.
Just gonna ask you about that.
The nonprofit. Yeah,
perfect segue.
Exactly.
So the Nog Champions are gonna be appearing. I'm a big fan of the band.
Yes.
So you're saying right now, you're confirming to our viewers there is a new record coming.
There is a new record coming down the line for next year. I think we'll have it ready. And I'm starting to work on that. I also have other great artists. Afro Roots Recordings is about DIY for artists that don't have the capacity to do it on their own, and we help them out through the nonprofit, whether it's through my studio as far as production work or helping them to get their songs registered and everything, and show them kind of a little bit about the music business so they know what they got to do. So that's Afro Roots Recordings. You could find out more about that on cacmiami.org as well.
That's great. So I think we're getting close to the end here. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about your career, about your projects, anything we may not have covered about CAC?
Yeah.
Maybe Dia de los Muertos.
Yes. And we also have Give Miami Day coming up in November, which I like to encourage people to support. It's not only us, but it's a lot of other nonprofit organizations. It's a like kind of a 1 week event where it's an online fundraiser and you could support organizations, and then Miami Foundation, who produces it, gives another donation on top of that. They match to a certain point, right? So Give Miami-Dade, right now, the way the whole landscape of the nonprofit sector, the way it is, we definitely have to be creative with the ways we, kind of think outside the box as far as fundraising ideas and stuff like that. But yeah, we also have a merch. You could find us.
There's a new store,
on
right?
Zeffy, all merch. We have great designs, great T-shirts.
Zeffi, Zeffy.
Y Ceffy.
Zeffy.
Yes, correct. And you can look up Community Arts and Culture there, and you'll find our store, and I think it'll be linked on our website pretty soon as well.
Yeah, and I think maybe with our wonderful producer Rachel's help, we can probably link to the store in the comments in this video.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So yes, November is Give Miami-Dade. Also, when Dia de los Muertos happens,
correct.
We're planning a couple of events, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, November 2nd confirmed at the Florida Keys Brewing Company with Mariachi Veracruzano.
And there's usually something up here in Miami-Dade that happens.
Yeah, we're not confirmed yet, but yes, we're working on that.
Stay tuned to the social media channels for Community Arts and Culture. You can also look at the website again, cacmiami.org. On the way out, the Inheritance Youth Project. We didn't even touch on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Run by our great collaborator and friend Renee Chavez.
Shout out to Renee.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been doing great work in the community now for many years, and she's been a great collaborator and helping us produce some of the events like we did in Gainesville, the Afro-Cuban convening. She produced that. She was one of the producers on that, and then also the Dia de los Muertos in recent years. She's taken over the helm of producing that event.
She does a river serenade also?
She's done the river serenade in the past, yes.
Really cool,
and she
really
does
cool
work
event.
everywhere. She's not only in Miami, but she's in New Mexico and in Georgia. She's doing great work everywhere, and we're very, very lucky to have her on board, spearheading the youth component of the organization.
There's drumming and dancing, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So doing a lot of great work and collaborating with the festivals and the events. We're looking to do stuff next year with Aseta Social Club and expansion to add more of an educational component to that and the days leading up to the main concert events and things like that. So yeah, we're really excited about this. So yeah, the youth is the future. We got to focus on that.
That's
because they're the torchbearers.
But I congratulate you, though. You have so many things going on.
Yeah,
you have so many projects that are successful, and they're so long running. And I'm proud to call you not just a friend, but also a fellow musician.
Thank you, my friend. Likewise.
I appreciate your time, Jose. On the way out, where can people learn about the band?
Oh yes, cortaditomusic.com. So CORTADITOMUSIC.com.
So it's right on the screen right now.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Well, thank you very much. On behalf of the Community News Network, my name is Michael Mut, Jose Elias. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you soon.